Thanks for joining us for another edition of Weekend Winners, proudly brought to you by One Equine. We go back to Albion Park on Saturday night. 8-race program, so a little bit different compared to normal for a Saturday night, but it coincides with the big night coming through from Sydney, and there's a lot of Queensland representation down there for that big meeting at Menangle, none more so than the state's best pacer, Leap to Fame, who is the favourite for the world's richest race, the Tab Eureka. So a lot to look forward to. This is going to be a good card at Albion Park, plenty of depth right across the meeting, and we've got a couple of good drivers with good books as well about to join us. Leonard, Cain and Adam Richardson. Leonard Cain now jumps in the hot seat to go through his book of drives on Saturday night. We've got 8 races, and coming off a rare Saturday night off last weekend, Leonard's now with us. Leonard, appreciate the time.
No worries at all, Chris. Thank you.
Okay, you're fresh and firing for Saturday night. We start with race 1, number 2, Go Lightly. His numerical form doesn't read all that great, but he is going better than what those numbers suggest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, he's racing a lot better than what it looks on paper. He just hadn't had a lot of luck, and bad draws. So, he comes out with a little bit more favourable draw there on Saturday, where hopefully we can settle close. And if that's the case, at his best, I think he's good enough to be right in the mix there. Okay, so he's running from gate 2, but you've got Melton Beach drawn to your inside, who does have early speed, and you've got Roxor Diamonds, a very fast beginner, on your immediate outside. So going into this first turn, where would the ideal spot be for Go Lightly? Obviously, he loves the fence and he loves to be forward. So, best case scenario, you'd love to be in front. Like you say, Melton Beach has good early speed. He is first up in a while, so we'll just have to press the button early and see where we get to, and see what Pete's sort of thinking, and take it from there. But like I say, he loves the fence and he loves to be forward. So if we were able to do that on Saturday night, it'd be very hard to run down. Okay, it's not a bad race, this one. There's a bit of depth here, and there's a bit of speed further out off that front line. The Grogfather can go forward, you know him well. Surf Ace is a go-forward type. Holy Cam Dillon, even Speak with Sam. So they might be burning along here early. Yeah, definitely. It looks like a race that's going to generate a lot of early tempo. So, like I say, we got the draw, so we're going to have to make use of it and just hope for the best there early, I think. Okay, race 2, your old mate Obi Legal lines up here. I say old mate, he's only a 4-year-old. He was unplaced last week. You didn't drive him last week, but his form overall is very consistent. It's a horrible draw, but can he still feature here? Oh, for sure, I'd have to say he's one of my favourite horses, that I'm driving at the moment. He's very consistent. He's very versatile. He's got a great few 100-metre sprint late, So, like you say, it's a tough field and it's a bad draw, but his run last week, they went quick and it was a blistering last half and he was off the track. So I think we write that run off, and obviously the draw doesn't help us this week, but we've just looked for gaps early and sort of hopefully if we can slot in there somewhere midfield and have a good trip, I think he'll be blistering late again. So, he's definitely, it's hard to ever rule him out really, because he, like you say, he is so consistent. So that is a good horse to drive. All right, so you're wanting and needing a genuine tempo here, and that might play out because, as you said, it's a deep lineup here. Big Shadow, super impressive last week. Last time Joe looked good. Got to Go Milking was huge in defeat. Bosch is racing well. Amami's flying. RD's Flash is the key runner. He's fresh up since the carnival, so it's a loaded field. So they might just produce a bit of tempo. Oh, definitely, and that's sort of what we're going to be hoping for. Hopefully they go mad, and the madder they go, the better it'll be for us. So that's all we can hope for, I think, here. All right, well, that's Obi Legal. Let's go across to race 5. Ailson is your drive here. First time sitting behind this mare? Yeah, it is, first time sitting behind her. So, probably a little bit of a sticky draw, and she's probably a touch out of form. So, as far as the depth of the race goes, it's probably a touch of a drop back for her, I think. I think at her best, she should be featuring in that, but like I say, she's probably a little bit down on confidence at the moment, so we're going to have to rely on a little bit of luck, I think. Okay, she's only a recent addition to the stables of Shane Graham. The first up run was okay, certainly a pass mark,
but last time out probably just a smidgen disappointing?
Yeah, I think so, Chris. You know, I think that's the best way to put it. Like you say, her first run, you know, she did everything right, and it was a bit of a learning curve and whatnot, but last run was probably a little bit of a letdown, I think, so we'd want an improvement off that.
All right, couple of weeks between runs, that may help her, but it is a tough draw there for Ailson, drawn the outside of the second row. Speaking of draws, here's a good one for you in race 6, Not the Kingswood. He lines up from barrier 1. He's going well. He was unplaced last time out, but there was nothing wrong with the run. Do you rate him here?
Yeah, definitely. You know, this looks like a good race for him, and drawing where he is obviously always beneficial. He's racing good, and I think if we can sort of get away as best we can early and be right up there, I think he'll take some running down in this race too. You know, it looks a good race for him, I think, on paper. Okay, so you might have a big decision to make here, because there's plenty of likely types to your outside here that'll go forward and probably have a look. So if you're to hand over, you've got the choice here between what, Betting Origin, My Ultimate Levi, Datitude, Frankie Ferocious? Yeah, it's sort of, yeah, it's going to be one of them things. I think you're just going to have to look across at the start and sort of see who's there, whatever the best one is that's there first. I think, you know, if you're looking to take cover, I think obviously just the best one that's there, you know, the quickest, I think. Okay, or is he good enough to go all the way in this field? Look, I think he is. You know, I obviously haven't really got to speak to Pete and Patrice about it yet, but, you know, this is my first time driving him, I believe, so I don't know a great lot about him. I'll have to look a little bit more into it, but I think he is good enough to take them all the way in this, but, yeah, we'll obviously see what they want to do. Okay, good chance there with Not the Kingswood. Race 7, you know this guy inside out, rock bottom. You've driven him many, many times. He lines up in the free-for-all here. It's a good quality lineup, as you would expect. Future Assured was absolutely awesome last week. Can Rock Bottom show up here? Oh, yeah, definitely. You know, he's another consistent type who, you know, I love sitting behind, because you always know what you're going to get with him. You know, he always gives you his all, and he follows speed good, and he's also got a good sprint, you know. So I think, you know, in these races, we generally just drive for a little bit of luck, and I think that's all you can do here, and, you know, hope luck comes our way, and if it is too, then, you know, he'll be right there at the finish for sure. You know, he always gives you his best, so that's a positive thing. Okay, a couple of things with Rock Bottom in this race. The small field is going to suit, and the fact you're drawn 3 and you've got speed to your inside with high voltage and send it means you don't have to use him early, so he's going to land a pretty handy spot here. Yeah, definitely. You know, that's all going to play into our hands, I think, and if we can just be camped on him and just be looking for them gaps late, I think that's his best hope. Did you catch the replay of Future Assured? I did, yeah. I actually watched that one, and yeah, no, he was huge. You know, that was a massive run. Yeah. All right. The last race on Saturday night, My Ultimate Victor, again for Peter Gregg and Patrice Madden, running from gate 2, and he's going well. He is going well, you know. His run there on Saturday night, he got a good trip, you know. Adam Sanderson produced a good one there, so he had a good trip, but he was also right there in the finish and doing his best work late, which is sort of his go, you know. So I think if we can get a cosy trip in this and be not too far away, he's definitely, his last 200's definitely his biggest asset, I think. Okay. He did get a good trip last week, but in your opinion, should he have been able to put that field away with that sort of trip? To a certain extent, yes. But at the same time, you know, I was speaking to Adam there on Tuesday, and he sort of said if he had driven him before, he probably would have come to the outside earlier and let him wind up. And he probably does get there, but it's one of them things where you got a decision to make, and at the same time, you know, he was held up that little bit, and maybe that just cost him. I'm not too sure, but he probably should have been a touch sharper, I thought, yeah. Okay, so drawn gate 2, you're just going to try and hold a spot here and just stay nice and handy. Yeah, I think so. That looks the best hope. I think just get away quick and hold as forward a position as what we can, and try and use him for that last couple hundred. All right, some good drives there for you on Saturday night. Which one are you most looking forward to at this early stage? I think old Rock Bottom. He's you know, he's an old favourite of mine, and hopefully, like we said there, if he can get a good trip, hopefully he's featuring there late. Okay, so Rock Bottom in race 7. Number 3, your drive that you're most looking forward to. Al Whitecross will be upset. He would have been hoping, he would have said Obi Legal or My Ultimate Victor. It's hard from the draw with Obi, I think, but yeah, no, he'll be doing his best. Hey, appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside Saturday night. No worries. Thanks very much, Chris.
Adam Richardson now joins us to go through his book of drives on Saturday night, and there's some nice drives as well. Adam, appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
We start with race 2. I'm sure you're happy with this horse, Bosch. You've been with him his last 2. He's now in the care of Mark Rees, and both of those runs have been good. However, it's a bit of a sticky draw, and it's a strong field on Saturday night.
Yeah, it is. Both his runs so far have been over the mile. Both been strong runs, hitting the line nice. Over the 21, I think, you know, probably drive him quiet and maybe put him into the race a little bit earlier than I have been. He felt last week like he was sort of one pace the last half, so might try and put him into it a bit earlier than over the 21 and see if he can tough it out.
Okay, this race is surely going to generate some tempo because it's such a deep race. Big Shadow was impressive last time, Joe impressive last week. Got to Go Milking went well, Amami Ardi's Flash, King of Trumps going really well, so this should ensure a good speed.
I'm sure it will, yeah. Like you say, there's a handful of horses there that are, you know, in top form at the moment, and hopefully there is a lot of speed early, and our fella, like I said, can just tough it out.
Okay, so you prefer him at the 2100 compared to the mile?
I haven't driven him over the 21, but to me he just feels like he's a bit more strong than what he is zippy.
Okay, he's a pretty handy type, so I think it's only going to be a matter of time before he wins again at Albion Park.
I think so, yeah. Like, Mark hasn't had him all that long, and the 2 runs that he has had have been pretty good.
Okay, well, that's Bosch in race number 2. Looks a good chance there. Just needs that little bit of luck from the draw. Race number 3. This is a good drive you've picked up here. Gendon Strike. She's a last start winner in a tick over 52. Yes, she's got the wide draw, but I think you'd be pretty happy to sit behind this mare.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Obviously, a couple of the bigger drivers are heading south for the Eureka. It looks, you know, a very winnable race. Last mile was good last week. You know, she drew outside last week as well, so it'd just be a matter of driving quiet and, you know, hoping she can get over the top.
Yeah, she's a versatile mare, so you've got options from 7. If you want to go forward, you can, but if you're looking to grab up and go back, you've got that option as well. So you can go in with a really open mind with this mare.
That's for sure, yeah. Like, I haven't spoke to Chris about it yet, but there looks to be a bit of depth, you know, in the race, so we'll just see what he thinks about it.
Okay, at this stage, Better Than a Rocket draws 1, and then you've got Our Action Man, Auntie Bella, the stablemate of Gendon Strike, drawn to your inside. They probably look the hardest to beat.
You would think so, yeah.
All right, well, that's Gendon Strike in race number 3. Let's go across to race 4. Gwyneth P. Darren Clayton, he keeps telling me each and every week this mare's got the hoof right on the till. Would you agree with that?
I would for sure. Last time I drove her, she had no luck at all. Got out late and hit the line nice. You know, only being one off the second row here, I think she can just tuck away early, and hopefully she's got the speed to come over the top, you know.
Okay, well, what would be the ideal sort of situation for her? Just being on the pegs, doing no work, and then just getting that closing shot?
Yeah, I think so. She's a very zippy little mare, so, you know, she's probably got a real good 200-300 metre sprint on her. So, you know, hopefully we can just work into it nice and, like I say, get home over the top. Okay,
tell me if you agree with this. With Magical Maya in this field and drawn wide, she's going to make sure there's some tempo in this race at some stage. Trent Dawson likes to drive her tough, so that's a good thing for you?
I think so, yeah. You know, like, the harder they go, probably the better for us.
All right, well, that's Gwyneth P. We'll keep following her. Darren Clayton says each and every week she's ready to go, so it might be this week.
Hopefully.
What about in race 5? Tell me about Glenlee Hanover. First start here at Albion Park. She comes up with gate 2 and she's won a pass 2. What do you know about her?
Yeah, so she's a mare from down home, obviously winner of the last 2. Probably likes to be driven hard and up on the pace. You know, she's a good leader, and from all reports, she's, you know, come up and settled in really well. So, you know, hoping for a forward showing.
Okay. Have you raced against her previously when you were down south?
I reckon early on, yeah, I did, yeah.
All right. So with gate 2, she's going to be in a good spot. Whatever she does on Saturday night, keep following?
I'd think so, yeah.
All right. Mademoiselle Jujon and Arco probably look the hardest to beat there with their nice front row draws. What about in race 6, Frankie Ferocious? A good drive to get here.
Yeah, another one, obviously, like I said, Nathan's going south. I sat behind him in a trial here, you know, probably a month, 6 weeks ago, and gave me a real nice feel. Just over-raced a little bit, and I sort of pulled him out and just let him run home. But he's been going pretty good. You know, Connections seem pretty happy with him, so I'd say it's a very winnable race for him too.
Okay, I remember that trial. Now, that was one of those Monday sessions. He can hang on a bit, can't he?
Yeah, definitely. I spoke to him after that, and they changed a bit of gear, and apparently he's been well since, so.
Okay. Did you watch him last week, finishing 4th in that strong 3-year-old race? That was the race Free Thinker won. What did you make of that effort?
Yeah, I thought it was a good effort. You know, obviously this week's quite a drop in grade from what that race was. And I haven't spoke to Ben or anyone yet, but I presume they'll want to press forward and, you know, give him every chance.
Okay, he's capable of going really fast time for a mile, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Okay. Well, there's some good drives there for you on Saturday night. Which one at this early stage are you most looking forward to?
I'd probably have to say Frankie Ferocious.
All right, race 6, number 6, Frankie Ferocious. Nice and easy there. Hey, Adam, really appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside on Saturday night.
No worries. Thanks, Chris.
Big thanks to both Leonard and Adam giving up their time and insights ahead of their drives on Saturday night, and we wish them all the very best of luck. Looking for a good thing on Saturday night? I didn't find it easy. In fact, it was quite difficult, but we've got to be patient. We've got to wait till the very last race of the night. So this will wrap up the main tab quaddie as well. Race 8, number 1, Can't Bluff You. He's got the right draw. I think he's got the right race, and he can take it. So race 8, number 1, Can't Bluff You, marking him the good thing on Saturday night. But as I said at the start, don't forget about all that Queensland representation at Menangle. We've got Leap to Fame, Speak the Truth in the big one, the Eureka. Tim's a Trooper steps out in the Consolation, the Stockade, along with Sure Thing Captain. The Queensland-owned Danger Zone also going around. A lot of Queensland representation. And don't forget in the Tab Lynn Smith Mile, we've got Hot and Treacherous starting. And off that sparkling trial recently in super fast time, I'm sure he'll run a ripper for Jack and Tara Butler and our leading driver, Nathan Dawson. Plenty to look forward to on Saturday night. We'll see you trackside at the Creek.